We're going to have a look at a special technique for translating formatted text in Microsoft Word or PowerPoint files. Sometimes when we receive these files, the request is to translate only certain parts of the text, which are usually distinguished by some kind of special formatting, such as the yellow highlighting you see in the example here, or red text, or italics, or whatever. These formats generally cannot be filtered out or specifically selected by the standard filters and cat tools, but we can access those special formats in internal XML files in the Microsoft Office formats. Now, what do I mean by internal XML files? Well, files like DOCX or PPTX, the Microsoft Word and PowerPoint formats, are really just zip files where the extension has been changed. And inside of these files, you'll find a series of folders and other files which contain the text, graphics, and other information for the files that we're more familiar with. These files can be opened up using common compression and archiving tools such as WinZip or 7-zip, as we see in the screenshot here. Once the files have been unpacked, we need then to find the files which contain the actual text to translate. In a Microsoft Word DOCX file, that will be found in a subfolder called Word, and the text itself will be contained in a file called document.xml. In PowerPoint files, the text is located in a PPT subfolder, in another subfolder inside of that called Slides, and then the text for each individual slide is in a separate XML. In the example you see here, there are 3 slides, and they're called slide1.xml, slide2.xml, and slide3.xml. These XML files can be opened up in a code editor, such as the free and open source Notepad++. And there you can search and find text that you know has a particular formatting and examine the environment around that text in order to determine which markers tell Microsoft Word or PowerPoint what format to display. In the example we see here in the screenshot, the yellow highlighting begins where we see this W:/highlight and a W:/val equals yellow tag. And the text block ends with a /W:/T close tag. This sort of marking will be found for each occurrence of text that is highlighted yellow in the file. It's important to take note of the structures that occur before and after the text of interest. These structures will then be used in a regex text filter to select that text while ignoring all the rest of the text. The general strategy that we're going to use here is to apply a regex text filter to the XML file to select the content that we want to translate, and then we'll cascade an XML filter after the regex text filter in order to deal with any tags. When configuring a regex text filter in MemoQ, for example, we can select whether to include or exclude a particular text using the radio buttons near the top of the dialog, and then enter the structure that occurs before the text of interest in the appropriate field, and the structure that occurs after the text of interest in the appropriate field for that. And then we add the capture rule, which in this case is always going to be the same. Clicking Add will then add the rule to the list. Let's have a look at how this works in practice. Here we have a docx file which contains text with various kinds of formatting. First, we're going to unpack that using 7-zip. Okay, we go inside of the folder and open up the Word file, and there we see the document XML file. So let's go into MemoQ now and import that. We go up to Import with Options, select the document XML file which contains the text for the Microsoft Word file. We don't want to use the default XML filter, So instead, we'll use a special cascading filter that was configured for this purpose. So here, for example, I have a filter which is configured to select only the red text in the Word XML file. So we'll select that and click OK. And have a look at the file. And here we see only the 2 sentences in that file which were marked in red. Now, if we import the same file using a different filter, we'll get different content. So, once again, import with options, select Document XML, and let's choose the filter that was configured to import all of the highlighted text in the Word XML file, not just the yellow, but also the green highlighted text. Now we open it up and we see a different text selection.